Alright, this is going to be a video on the center snorkels that I made for Polaris Sportsman 570. This one's a 2018 model. I'd imagine it's not much different with the older ones. I think they're all pretty well put together the same underneath. But yeah, so it does require you to get rid of your old headlight pod, which is kind of useless anyways if you're doing this sort of thing. I just made this one quick out of metal. It works fine, so I'm just gonna leave it. At first I didn't really like the look of it, but now I don't really care. It doesn't get in the way of anything. So, but yeah, this is I chose to run it this way instead of through the box. Same with the way I did the rad relocate as well, because I really wanted to keep that storage. I mean, that's part of the reason I even bought this thing. So it's just nice to be able to open it up all the way still. I keep my belt in there. I keep these for if I'm going to store it outside or wash it, just to cap it off so I can spray it, you know, that kind of thing. So now I don't get water in it when I'm washing it down. Pretty easy. Yeah, so basically running these, I think it took me 3 days after work to figure out how to get it all ran through. I'll kind of show you what I did now. I did go with that Warrior intake plate. I found it was just a lot easier than trying to rig up my own thing, or I didn't want to cut a hole through the side of the airbox like a lot of people have done to have the 3 snorkels. And it's just bolt right up. I did put some silicone around the gasket just to make sure, same with the actual airbox itself. And then I just ran, what is this? I believe this is like spa hose, 1.5 inches. I just bought it on Amazon. I bought a 30-foot roll, so I had plenty. Yeah, and then these are just, I think they're for washing machines, these boots. And they go 1.5 inches down to 1.25 inches. And they're a perfect fit. So I just hose clamped it down here. I didn't run any silicone on that at all. Here I used a shit ton of bead sealer. Not bead sealer, seam sealer. I don't really like how it is, but it'll do for now. I'll probably re-silicone it in a little bit, but it didn't seem to leak at all. I still haven't gone up this deep yet. I just went for a little ride on the weekend, and I never went up past the clutches. So, but as far as I can tell, the clutches are sealed up good. So I'll show you what I did on that side. All right, so I got the plastics off the side here. Just before I get to this, if anyone doesn't know, these pliers here that come with your four-wheeler have, focus, there we go, see that little groove right in the tip there? That is designed for going around these push pins. So you slip it over your push pin, give it a quick yank, and they come right out. Save you a lot of time and hassle with screwdrivers and that stupid shit, because yeah, and I know it's a pain in the ass on the trail, so that's why those are super nice to have. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Yeah, so what I did here, obviously I got that Warrior intake plate. I ran these down along the side here, away from any of the heat of the engine, really. They don't get hot at all. They're in a perfect spot. There's no rubbing. Same with this. This is for the exhaust, for the clutch. Yeah, there's no rubbing with anything here. It's all perfectly fitted. You don't notice. You get no bulging plastics, none of that ugly shit. For these on both ends, I ran a 3-inch to 2-inch adapter, silicone adapter. It fits perfectly into plumbing, 1.5 inch pipe. The female ends of those are about 2 inches, and it fits perfectly in here. And then I went to a, hang on, let me turn my flasher. Yeah, so 3-inch to 2-inch adapter, and then in between, this is another silicone 1.5 inch to 1.5 inch coupling. In between here, there's a just a straight extension, female end in the 2-inch, male end in the 1.5 inch, and it fits perfect. You don't see it in there obviously, but it is there, holding it together. And then on this end here, pretty messy I know, but that is just the plumbing hose, the way it came with the plastic fitting attached to it already. I tried to use those. And then I actually epoxied this end because it's right in the wheel well. I don't really like all that shit flying at it all the time, so it's just right there. I might take this apart and add a 90 on later so it's pointed away. but for now it works pretty good. Until I have an issue, I probably won't touch it. Yeah, so I ran all these up. The 2 clutches go up the inside. I'll show you how I do that in a minute. It's a really tight fit, but it works out nicely. On the back end here, it's 3" to 2" as well, same as the front, with a 90-degree plumbing fitting. So it's a female end and a female end. Again, fits in nicely in there. I put some silicone in the top there so water can't pool up in there. And then on this side, it's a 45-degree with a female end to a male end, followed by another straight piece, female to male again, and then an 1.5" rubber coupler that goes from the plumbing fittings to the hose fitting, and it's all a nice fit. And then I just seal this up again. So yeah, that's all ran nice and straight and tight. It doesn't move around. It's all zip tied nice. I used probably 400 zip ties in this setup, but I mean, once it's in there, you never have to mess with it, so it's not a big deal. Okay, I will take this off and then I'll get back. So take these off, 4 screws, both sides, and you just pull that. These clips pop right out, especially once you cut it. They pop out like nothing. Yeah, so now you can kind of see what I got going on here. I tried to leave it so that fuse box was still accessible. I think the only hard thing about accessing it's going to be these two. Just have to cut this zip tie and it spreads open far enough, you can pop this right open. So it's no big deal. I'd rather have these tight all the time and have to cut these to have this accessible than to try to figure something else out, because this stays in there pretty nice and sturdy. So what I did here was, this is the intake for the engine, these two. There's plenty of room, especially once you take your rad out. I don't know how it would be with the rad it's still in there, because the fill cap's here and all this stuff. I know there has been people that have done it. It's hard to find information about this stuff out there. I looked up a guy who had done it with a 17 model, I believe, and his rad was still in. And he made it all fit, but he didn't really give a very good explanation of how. So I had figured it out on my own, but my rad was already gone, so I got tons of room in here to play with. Anyone who's doing this, I suggest a rad relocate, just because the location down there is terrible. They get caked in mud. They're right in the wheel well. Constantly shit flying up at them. I know when I pulled mine out, I'd only had it for about half a year, and I think I only had like 300 kilometers on it, and the whole bottom of the rad was just caked. It just completely filled with shit. It was no good. I thought I was getting it clean, and obviously I wasn't. So now, obviously being up here, you're not getting any debris in it. It stays clean every ride. So anyway, sorry, back to this. For the back one, it's hard to see, but this is the clutch intake and exhaust up here. It's hard to see what's going on, but for anyone doing this, once you get to this point, it's really easy to tell. You can look down, and on either side of the fuse box, there is a clear hole that goes all the way down. Same on this side. There is a clear, you're not gonna be able to really see in there, it's too dark, but there is a clear hole that goes all the way down. And it is a tight fit, but when you're moving this hose, it's very flexible and it's really easy. I only had to push one wire out of the way that was looped into the harness. I'm not really sure what it does, but anyways, you just push it out of the way and they come right up through the hole, no problem. It looks hard to do, but it's really easy. That took me a bit to figure out, because the first time I tried to do this, I saw all this room up here, so I tried to run all 4 hoses through here and coil them in here. There was just too much pressure trying to push that plastic back in. Having them ganged up on top of each other didn't allow this plastic to sit in very nice, and it didn't let me put these where I wanted them. For this is obviously just plumbing plastics. I mean, or plumbing fittings. You can make whatever you want out of this. That's completely up to you. I chose to keep them a little bit lower. I don't really plan on ever having my headlight pod submerged, or my center pod submerged at all. I don't plan on going up past this plastic. It was more for peace of mind, because I can't see. I think the original clutch intake was down here. It's just too low, or the exhaust it was, I think. Both of them were in here. It's too low, and you can't see it. I don't like that. I like it up here where I can see it. Now at least I know when I'm getting close, I can back off, or I can keep going. I know exactly what I got going on. These here are just more 1.5 to 1.5 couplers. They fit perfect on the plumbing, and then this hose fits up perfect inside it. Clamp it down, and then I went from the inside before I put these tops on and silicone all the way around the top of this hose inside. That should be good enough. I'll probably go around and bead them on the outside as well, just for that peace of mind, but you don't need to. I mean, these are sealed up perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I don't really see there being an issue with that. I guess we'll find out when I get deep enough, but I don't really see there being a problem. So yeah, this is how I did this. For the headlight pod delete, is pretty easy. I mean, it's going to be trickier obviously if you don't have the stuff laying around to do it, but you can get creative, make your own. I've only seen one other person make a thing, and they made a flat bracket that came across. It looked better because they had that. It was a 17 model, I believe. They had that speedo. We have the 18 and up have this digital gauge, so it wouldn't have looked as nice, and it would have been all clustering up this whole area. So I made like a little box kind of thing out of metal. I have a little metal brake, so that made it easier. And then I just played with the angles. Probably took me 45 minutes to make this. It turned out nice. I got my light bar down here, key, it all comes on still. Got my 12 volt accessory plug still. It all works out good. Nothing rubs, nothing's in the way. Lots of room for the wires. I'm gonna tuck these a little bit better. It's still kind of messy. Still have to extend the breathers, probably just put them up into the pod again, and then maybe throw a couple coils in there. But for now, they just stay tucked right there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if anyone has any questions about it, just let me know, because I try to make a detailed video about it, but it's kind of hard. I was going to make one while I was making it, but I changed the setup probably 5 or 6 times. It would have just been a mess. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I might make a vid on how to do a rad relocate and keep your storage too. I mean, that one's pretty straightforward. There's a million ways you can make a rad relocate. Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah, putting this plastic back in, same thing. Just goes right in, down. It's a good fit. Snap that in, snap that side in. Then you get your 4 screws. Oops, zip them in, you're good to go. So that's about it. Yeah, see, as you can see, tons of room. I just cut a big square out of this. I left the clips because you want those in there. I don't know, it looked a little bit cleaner. If you left it without it, it would just look like junk. So when the box is all closed, you really can't even tell that I've cut anything. That bracket will be getting painted black. I just wanted to make sure it was going to work out how I wanted it to. Yeah, so that's it. And this is the finished product you're left with. See, it's close fit, but it looks nice from a distance. You can't even really tell they're in there. Hidden nicely behind the rad. Nothing's gonna get hit by trees or anything. It's all tucked out of the way. Just another thing to keep in mind too is this drain plug here. I don't know if you can see it. The drain plug right there for the airbox is a piece of shit. I will be maybe rigging something up better with some plumbing fittings, but for now I just siliconed the shit out of it and plugged it back in. I figure if I need to drain my airbox, I'm probably not going in water again that day, so I'll just rip the silicone off and drain it and then ride home. I don't see why it needs to be anything other than that, but I might make it something I can, like a cap I can unscrew kind of, because that seal from the factory is just junk. It's just terrible. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know why they would do that, but yeah, that was my quick fix for that.